Cannabis Common Sense, the show that tells the truth about marijuana and the politics behind its prohibition.
Hello and welcome to another exciting edition of Cannabis Common Sense. We have another great show for you tonight. We have a lot of medically oriented hemp news. Not a lot of hard news this week in terms of political or sociological developments, but we have a lot of medical studies that have come out in the past week, and we'll be informing you of those shortly. Right next to me is that wild and crazy guy, Mr. Casper Leach. Standing back in the wings, John Cornette's ready to play some groovy tunes. Welcome back, John.
Hey, thank you.
We'll be taking your phone calls. If you have a question or statement you'd like to make, you can call us. We'll put that number up after the hemp news segment. But before we get there, as we always do, for years and years, almost 20 years now, we will bring on the infamous dancing cannabis leaves.
I feel the force.
Cheesy, it's cheap, but they're ours. And they're so cute when they're dancing leaf to leaf. Our first story tonight is out of New York City.
New York City?
New York City. Cannabis inhalation influences subject sensitivity to pain, according to clinical data published online and from the print journal Drug and Alcohol Dependence. Investigators at Columbia University Medical Center in New York City assessed the effects of cannabis versus placebo in subjects exposed to a laboratory-induced pain model. Participants in the trial immersed one of their hands in cold water. Researchers assessed subjects' pain sensitivity and pain tolerance based on the length of time they were willing to keep their hands submerged. The researchers reported that the administration of cannabis decreased pain sensitivity and increased pain tolerance in men, while producing a more modest response in female subjects. The authors concluded, quote, "These results indicate that in cannabis smokers, men exhibit greater cannabis-induced analgesia relative to women. As such, sex-dependent differences in cannabis's analgesic effects are an important consideration that warrants further investigation when considering the potential therapeutic effects of cannabinoids for pain relief," end quote. Separate clinical trials evaluating the impact of inhaled cannabis in patients with chronic pain conditions such as neuropathy report that the treatments associated with reduced analgesia and opioid use. This study, Sex-Dependent Effects of Cannabis-Induced Analgesia, appears in the journal Drug and Alcohol Dependence. Out of Dusseldorf, Germany, the administration of oral synthetic THC, or Dronabinol, also known as Marinol, is safe and effective for the treatment of refractory spasticity in pediatric patients, according to clinical data published online in the European Journal of Pediatric Neurology. Researchers from the University of Dusseldorf in Germany assessed the palliative treatment of Dronabinol in 16 adolescent subjects with complex neurological conditions. Subjects received dosing twice daily, and the median duration of treatment was 181 days. Oral THC administration was associated with reduced spasticity in the majority of subjects treated. No serious or enduring side effects were reported. The authors wrote, quote, "Our data shows evidence that Dronabinol can effectively be administered over a longer period of time to young children without severe side effects or aggravation of pre-existing concurrent conditions," end quote, these authors concluded. The study is one of the first trials specifically to assess the safety and efficacy of THC in an adolescent patient population. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration approved the prescription of oral synthetic THC as an antiemetic and as an appetite stimulant in the mid-1980s. A liquid version of Dronabinol was FDA approved for similar purposes earlier this year. full text of this study, Effective Treatment of Spasticity Using Dronabinol in Pediatric Palliative Care, appears in the European Journal of Pediatric Neurology. Out of New Zealand, the administration of standardized cannabinoid extracts, Sativex, a brand out of England, is safe and effective at mitigating symptoms of Tourette's syndrome, according to a case report published in the journal Australian Psychiatry. Investigators at the Tauranga Hospital and Department of Psychiatry in New Zealand evaluated the impact of twice-daily Sativex administration in a patient with treatment-resistant Tourette's syndrome, or TS. Sativex is a spray containing an equal 1-to-1 ratio of THC and cannabidiol, or CBD. Following treatment, researchers reported an 85% reduction in the subject's motor tics and a 90% reduction in vocal tics. The authors concluded, quote, "Our results support previous research suggesting that cannabinoids are a safe and effective treatment for TS and should be considered in the treatment-resistant cases," end quote. Randomized clinical trials assessing the use of oral THC capsules in patients with TS have similarly reported the treatment to be safe and effective. This study, Severe Motor and Vocal Tics Controlled with Sativex, appears in the Australian Psychiatry publication. Our last story tonight is out of Ontario, Canada. Patients with epilepsy frequently experiment with cannabis, and most report experiencing subjective benefits following their use of the substance, according to data published in the journal Epilepsy and Behavior. Canadian researchers surveyed the experiences of over 300 adult patients admitted to an epilepsy monitoring unit over a 14-month period. More than half the respondents acknowledged having tried cannabis, and over a third reported having used it in the past year. Cannabis use was associated with perceived reductions in seizure frequency, reduced stress, improved sleep, and better memory and concentration. Clinical trial data reports that cannabinoids, in particular cannabidiol or CBD, possess anticonvulsant activity in patients with intractable forms of the disease, epilepsy. This study, Marijuana Use in Adults Admitted to a Canadian Epilepsy Monitoring Unit, appears in Epilepsy and Behavior. And that's the end of our Hemp News segment tonight. Pretty heavy on the medical side of that. Standing by is Mr. John Cornett. Welcome back, John.
Thank you, Paul.
Thank you.
I love cannabis oil. And I love cannabis in general. This is a song about cannabis. Some folks like tomatoes, some like rhubarb pie. I like when my vegetables get me a little high. May not be for everyone, may not fit your needs, but this incredible edible vegetable is more than just a weed. Edible, ooh, edible, ooh, vegetable. Incredible. Some like rhubarb pie. I like when my vegetables, that's right, get me a little high. May not be for everyone, may not fit your need, but this incredible edible vegetable is more than just a weed. Incredible. Ooh, vegetable. Incredible.
right. That is a great song. I always love when you play that. Did you write that one or did you pick
I
that?
wrote that one.
That one's
Yeah,
good.
Here's another verse.
You gotta. It's good. Hey.
Thank you.
You've been practicing too. You sounded awesome tonight.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, John. Thank you, Casper. Welcome back.
Happy Friday.
Hey, if you are out there and you have a question for us tonight, you can call that number right there on your screen. It's 503-288-4442. That's 503-288-4442. And we will be taking your phone calls for about another 45 minutes. So how's your week been?
Oh, it's been exciting, and we are working hard at Time for Hemp to make cannabis great again. And I want you to tune in to our network. If you go to the polls, trust me, I know this better than anybody. I've talked to everybody on the planet, and I can tell you for sure, making marijuana legal will bring back jobs. It'll be the most job-creating plant this side of heaven. You got to vote for it. What do you got to lose? You've had prohibition all this time, 20 years of that. Come on, give it a try. Make cannabis great again. Join us. We want to build a wall around the DEA, make them pay for it. We're going to do it. And if you come to our network, you can check out our huge archives and our huge list of great people who are dedicated to giving prohibition its last breath of fresh air. And if you go down to that voting booth and get rid of crooked Loretta Lynch and all the people that have worked to make prohibition a way of life, we will make cannabis great again. It's huge. Trust me.
I vote for you. Vote for you. That's incredibly excellent.
Thank you.
Your hands look like they're shrinking, though. I don't know.
No, they're huge too.
And little feet. We are taking your phone calls tonight. I wasn't expecting that. I know you weren't either, but hey, that was pretty good. I like. If you have a question or comment for us tonight, you should call us. That number on your screen. It's 503-288-4442. That's 503-288-4442. I think we have a caller standing by. Let me see if through the magic of technology we can bring that in here. Not that line. There's something wrong with our spells.
It's a protester. Get him out of here. We don't want him in here. We don't need that. We're going to make this plant great again.
Okay. Is there a caller? Oh, no, not that one for sure. Well, if you have a question, then you can call us at 503-288-4442. That's 503-288-4442. And you know, I always like to focus on our hemp flame of freedom. The past couple weeks, I have not had a chance to focus on our hemp flame of freedom. But what this is here, and we have it every single show, is hemp oil with a hemp wick, showing that hemp is the planet's premier illuminant, non-toxic, and the most productive seed oil crop. So hemp is the reason that marijuana was made illegal, because you can take this oil, pour it right into any diesel engine, turn the key, and drive. So as long as we have low THC hemp produces 1/20th the amount of seeds, and it's the seeds that we need. Seed is the source of the oil and the protein, and that's most of the money, and we need to cultivate high THC cannabis for the seed. At the same time, we can harvest the residual flowers that are coated with THC and the fiber, and when we can do that, we will decentralize our economy and change the whole paradigm of energy and our relationship with this planet. So that's one of the things we're talking about. We have a video we're going to run in a few minutes from the hemp car, where back in 2001, 16 years ago, I interviewed Grant Krager, who was driving a Mercedes-Benz car all across North America. Out of Washington, D.C., he made a big loop through Canada, down the West Coast, across the southern United States with this hemp car. We'll be talking to him back in 2001, when I was 15 years younger than now, in a few moments. But we have a caller. We're going to try this again. We're daring. It's live. We're all volunteers here. Welcome to the show, caller.
Hello there.
Howdy.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm doing okay. Hey, I
Good.
just wanted to make a comment. Hi. I'm waving. I just wanted to make a comment. My doctor, I ended up with a brain tumor, and breast brain was malignant, and she actually put me on that because what it did, I was losing weight so drastically that it slowed it down. It created an appetite for me. It helped me with the sounds going through my head when I had staples in there after my surgery. And it kept me calm. It kept the nausea. It helped to keep that off. And it was not harmful. I don't understand where, they're harping so much and they're trying to blame so much. Marijuana made them do this and do that.
No, it's very beneficial. It has, the anti-emetic or anti-nausea effects of cannabis and its healing properties are well known to science, but the DEA hides that. On one hand, Health and Human Services has a patent on marijuana for pain relief and cancer treatment. And on the other hand, the Drug Enforcement Administration, a different branch of the Treasury, says that marijuana has no medicinal effect. And they're allowed to spout this nonsense that we all know is not true. That's why we have medical marijuana now allowed in more than half the states in the United States. And definitely like 60% of the people in the country live where if they need medical marijuana, there's a way for many people to get it. Not all the people who need it.
I was
but
in my early 20s. And my father, I was in my early 20s, and my father was passing away from cancer. Mm-hmm. What he asked me to do was to obtain the marijuana for him because he was, getting too ill to do anything.
Sure.
But it kept him, having an appetite, and it just, it calmed the nerves.
It even stimulates bone growth and stops osteoporosis. That's an amazing property of it. It's just a key ingredient that has no toxicity and no real harm. And so for them to keep saying it has harm is just evil. And that's what this show's been about for 20 years now.
Mm-hmm. It grew wild along the roadway.
Yeah.
Really?
We worked hard to dispel
It's the oldest crop. It's been grown at least 12,000 years and maybe more than 30,000 years ago. We have co-evolved with cannabis, and it has co-evolved with us. We've changed cannabis, and cannabis has changed us. In that period of cultivation of over 12,000, maybe over 30,000 years now. And so just the same way other plants have been changed by domestication and selective breeding, so has cannabis, and cannabis has changed us as well.
Mm-hmm. I managed to open up my mom and dad's eyes. My mom and dad were from the era where they believed that smoking marijuana made you crazy, wanted to go out and kill people and have sex with black men. And when I grew up, I made it very clear, long before I smoked marijuana, I wanted to have sex with black men.
Right. Well, one of my parents and everything actually grew it back in the 70s. In the closet. It started out with like the little mushroom lamp,
Did you catch that double entendre?
I
there?
did.
Yeah,
I did.
Yeah, and
now we're all out of the closet.
I was never in the cannabis closet. I was always out, and I suffered some of the consequences. But I first went to a protest to legalize marijuana a week after my 18th birthday. This is back when you could drink at the age of 18, too, in Washington, D.C., way back. In another era, in 1978. So I appreciate your call here, and we have more callers standing by.
That was another century. Did you
Have
vote for Eisenhower the first time you voted?
I was conceived and born when Eisenhower was president, but I don't remember it. It's another story. We have another caller, though. Welcome to the show, caller.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi. My friend and I are wondering, we both use marijuana. She primarily uses CBD, and I use THC. And neither one of us have ever tested positive on a drug test. We have been tested by different doctors individually, and I never turned up positive, and neither does she. Can you
Had you
give us an
used
explanation?
cannabis? Had you used it within 30 days before the test?
Yes.
Was it within 3 days before the test?
Yes.
Well, it should have come up positive. Maybe they just didn't test for cannabis. They were testing for other drugs.
Oh, perhaps that's it.
Yeah.
Or maybe you've been beamed up in the middle of the night and didn't know it, and it was cleansed out by an alien and put back into your bed the next morning.
Perhaps that's true.
No, I think perhaps they just didn't test for cannabis.
Oh, that's probably more likely.
Okay. Well, thank you so very much.
All right. Thank you.
Okay,
Thanks.
you take care. Bye-bye.
Thanks for calling. Have a good night. If you have a question or comment for us, call us at that number on your screen, 503-288-4442. Again, you know, the reason marijuana was made illegal is because of hemp fuel. And back in 2001, Grant Krieger drove his car about 6,000 miles across North America, and I got a chance to interview him when he stopped here in Portland, and here's the old video. We'll be back in a moment.
Sigler. Yep. So how did you come to think of this, the hemp car idea, and this national tour you're doing?
Well, I wanted to come out to the West Coast in some kind of environmental fashion, and I've been researching fuels for a while and never really cared about hemp, and came across hemp oil as a transportation fuel and put two and two together. You know, it's
When was that? When did you
that
first?
was back in October of last year.
October of last year?
Right
Great.
around there. And started asking, you know, how come this hasn't been done, and took a look into the plant a little more, found out it's not a drug and still falls under the DEA ban, so put two and two together and decided that I had to do it with hemp oil.
And so you're getting hemp oil from Ohio?
Yeah, it
but it's
originated
Canadian.
from China and some from Canada, and then some of it comes into Ohio where it's made into biodiesel via Don Worshafter at the Ohio Hempery. And Mr. Todd Swearingen of Apple Energy, who processes the oil for us in the biodiesel.
What can you tell us about the car? It's a just normal car without...
It's a completely unmodified Mercedes diesel, 1983 turbo diesel. Any diesel engine can burn any vegetable oil, but you'll get a longer engine life turning it into biodiesel, so that's what we're doing.
What about your tour? You started where? And you're
Washington,
going
D.C., July 4th.
the big rally they have there every 4th of July?
We led the rally and took off from there on July 4th, and we covered, let's see, today is August 21st or 22nd?
Yeah,
right around there.
22nd.
So that's about 7 weeks we've been on the road, and covered 6,400 miles now.
6,400 miles. And how many cities are you going to in total?
I think we're going to about 50 cities in total.
In how many days is that?
That's in about a little over 90 days, yeah.
50 cities in 90 days. That's ambitious.
Yeah.
And that's on 100% hemp fuel.
Yep.
And what kind of mileage are you getting?
27 miles to the gallon, just like the car came from the factory floor.
And so it's being shipped to you along the...
Yeah, we have 12 like drop points, and we have our fuel shipped ahead, and then we pick up as much as we can carry.
All right.
Wow.
There is the hemp car from back in 2001.
Back when you had real hair.
Back when my hair wasn't as white as it is now.
Oh, okay.
It's good.
Yeah.
I don't have much pepper left in my salt. You know,
Okay.
It's changing, you know, but that's what happens when you're lucky. I mean, I could have died young and left a good-looking corpse, or...
I kept saying, I recognize the voice. I recognize the voice. Is that Paul's kid? What?
Well, there you have it.
Great, though. Really interesting.
Isn't it? That car had a lot of decals and sponsors. Some of those companies are still around. Some of them aren't. This is 15 years old. Now, back in 2001 when we made this, this show was only 5 years old. Okay. Now we are counting down our last month before our 20th full year of broadcasting. I know, it's been a long time. Wow. 20 continuous years.
And this is my 25th year doing Time for Hemp. So it was was it silver anniversary?
All right.
So send some silver, people. Hit the donate button on my website. But don't make me get too excited about that.
You obviously have a little bit of hostility around that, Casper.
Well, you hear about these multi-million-dollar dispensaries hiding money in their floors because they can't get a bank account to take it. And then there's activists like us who are living on a shoestring trying to raise the voice of the marijuana movement so we can end prohibition. And you sit there and suck on your big fat bongs wonder, what can I do with my money? Not that I'm bitter. Hit the donate button. TimeForHemp.com.
Okay, Casper. Okay, calm down.
Oh, sorry.
Now, don't harass our viewers.
Sorry. We love you.
Chase around. We do. We do. And if you have a question for us tonight, you can call that number there on your screen, 503-288-4442. And we'll be happy to talk to you. Well, there was a lot of medical news there.
There was.
At the top of the hour. We had a number of different medical studies that came down the pike, how marijuana is being used to treat chronic pain, pediatric epilepsy, adult seizures and spasticity.
I'm always amazed as to what comes out of Jerusalem. The scientists over there, they're so far ahead, and they've even been using medicinal marijuana on their soldiers and in the field, and finding ways to test it, to make avenues for people who need it for certain ways, can actually get certain strains. And yet here our authorities sit on their hand like the lying Loretta Lynch, who's lied to Congress over and over. You should check her emails. And
the head of the DEA by law has to say that marijuana is bad for you, and has to. Well, the law actually says that someone in that position has to do that.
Right.
So, boy, we need to get rid of that position. Why do we have a czar? It's the United States. We have a drug czar.
That's true.
That's a despotic Russian imperial king.
I wouldn't mind having like a disco czar, and like calling it Elton John or Cher. But this drug czar where they arrest you and they're really mean about it, that's just, you're right.
Well, right here in River City, we...
with the capital P that rhymes with Portland?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, you've seen that, Music Man. But there's a fellow who lived here and still visits pretty frequently. His name is Jorge Cervantes. And Jorge has become one of the top experts on cannabis cultivation in the world. He's still making videos. Here he is in our garden here in Portland back just almost exactly a year ago. And
look at those lovely plants.
Those are some pretty big plants that we grow. There's Jorge in the garden.
Did you and Jorge run naked through your field?
No. That would be a horror show. And here he is on our show a long time ago, I guess probably 2007 or 2009, with Jonathan Eder, who has played music on this show in the past as well. But we have a couple of videos. Jorge now has started this school, THC University. He's training people. He's come out of the closet, and he has these videos. He teaches us about cannabis, and we have some of those videos, a couple of those videos, we have permission to play. And,
he's very clever with this. You get all kinds of great tips just watching even 15 minutes of his work. You can pick up some great pointers on making your garden better.
All right. Well, we're going to watch a few minutes of that right now, so stay tuned, and we'll be back in a few minutes.
Hey, this is Jorge Cervantes, and I'm here in my garden, and I want to show you, it's like near the end of June, last week in June, and I want to show you a couple of things on this sunny day. Today it's about 85 degrees, And these are the two volunteer plants I have. Here's the one on this side. And if you look at it real carefully, you can see these leaves, or the tips on some of these plants, are just kind of over on their side on some of these branches here. There's one right there. Excellent example. And the leaves are kind of wilted. They're not stuck out straight or sticking out straight. This one's done a little better, but you can see it's in all of these leaves. Now this one, the wind blows a little bit, but there's some of these that are just kind of hanging over on their side like this one. So what's happened is this plant this plant needs a little water. I haven't given it much water at all. I'll tell you, it got water 4 times and not very much 3 of those times. Once I watered it pretty good, but mainly it was an aesthetic stuff. But now, since I guess, I don't know exactly how old they are, but what I see is they just need some water. So I'm going to water them in real heavy here. And, you know, the thing is, when you water them like this, I really should have watered them first thing this morning because I saw them wilt just a little bit yesterday, late in the day, and I didn't have time. But I really should be doing this in the morning. But I waited all day just so I could get a nice wilt on them and show you guys what that was like. Anyway, it's amazing. In about 10 minutes, these plants are going to be going full speed ahead. And see, I'll water this on the outside a little bit just to cool everything down. But boy, you can see that's just wilted. Now let's look around here. Oh yeah, look at those branches. Some of them broke off. I'm just leaving them like that. I'm going to trellis them up. I'm expecting a few more small ones to break. But I'm going to water this in real heavy here. Yeah, it's a good deal. Well, here we are, 20 minutes later, actually 25 minutes later. Now, let's take a look at these plants and see what they look like. This one looks way different. Remember those tips that were laying over on their sides and how the leaves were laying down? Look at these. Look at those. Everything's standing up. Everything's oriented toward the sun. So you can see this plant wasn't very much out of water, but it still was dry. Yeah, look at all of these tips. It really bounces back quickly. But you can see just how much water one of these things uses. So remember, don't let your plants run out of water. Don't let them fall over on the top like that when the leaves kind of lose luster. There's a problem. It's the plant's telling you something. You just got to be able to read the signs. But pay attention to the leaves and what they look like overall. This is Jorge Cervantes. Just one thing I wanted to tell you. Look at this. This plant is, well, I think it's more like 6 feet tall now. Anyway, this is Jorge Cervantes signing off.
Okay, Portland's own Jorge Cervantes. He's let his plants wilt. Gosh.
I loved watering day in my garden when I had a garden in my basement because shortly afterwards, all the branches were like the same and they kind of went up like this, like they wanted to hug me. And I could almost hear my plants say, "Thank you, I love you, Casper. Thank you, I love you, Casper." And just sitting in my garden like that was just like almost a Zen moment.
You got to kind of find a balance between enough water and not too much water because you don't want to overwater. But then you've got to make sure your water source is the right pH. You know, you want it to be at about 6.5, 6.7. If it's higher than that or lower, then it's going to slow the uptake of nutrients. So
and you're right.
Right now, we've got all our plants are starting to bud. It's the start of the flower season.
And I learned the hard way. It's always better to underwater and underfeed because you can always add more.
Yeah.
Than it is to overwater or overfeed. I can't tell you how unhappy I was a couple of times when I had to like change soil just to save all the plants because I either ever watered or ever fed. I knew if I got it right. And
If
so
it's not one
it's
thing,
a
it's
hard
another.
lesson to learn. So that is something to, if you're gardening indoors, please, less is more. You can always add what you need tomorrow morning if it's not right today. You just can't take it back out.
We have another caller.
Cool.
Welcome to the show, caller.
Hello?
Hello.
Yes, hello. I'm calling. I watch your program all the time, and I have osteoarthritis and regular arthritis and some RA. Now, I have been using, your cookies they make.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I take about a quarter of the cookie, and it takes about an hour before it kicks in. And it's called Nana's Ginger Snap Cookies.
Okay.
And it really works. Really, really
They
works.
do. They work very well. If you inhale a little, it doesn't work quite as well for pain, but it definitely comes on much more quickly.
What, if you inhale it?
Yeah, if you smoke it or you vaporize it. I
Not the cookies,
prefer
some
not the
bud.
cookies.
Yeah.
You can't smoke the cookies. Don't try that at home.
Don't try
kids.
that. The bud. Smoke some bud with the cookies.
Right.
Don't do what?
Don't smoke the cookie. Smoke some bud with the cookie.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
Yeah,
Did
well,
he
because,
confuse you?
I never
Or did I do it?
smoke, so I didn't really want to do it that way.
Yeah, well,
But-
don't. You shouldn't. If you don't want to, then just eat the cookie and wait an hour.
Yeah, and it doesn't really affect my head. Oh, it relaxes me, which
And
helps.
it doesn't make
a
you
lot.
cough.
Yeah, and so, anytime, because your nerves get all tight when you're hurt. So.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Being in chronic pain is just a terrible thing, and cannabis is one of the safest ways to deal with it. It's non-addictive. If anything, you'll just fall asleep and maybe get a little hungry.
Yeah, well, I've done both. So.
Yeah, yeah.
Kind of like when
Yeah.
you're hanging out with your
No,
grandparents. You
I've
just
been
fall
watching
asleep and get
TV.
hungry.
I can't get a medical card.
Yeah, you can. You definitely can.
How?
Well, that's a good question. Let's pop this number up here on the screen. We have a toll-free number. Here's the local number, 503-235-8423. That's 503-235-8423. Or if you're outside the Portland area, anywhere in the United States, you can call us at 1-888-499-THCF or 8423. Just leave a message there.
799?
Yeah, 499-8423. That's 888-499-8423. We'd be happy to help you. We have doctors who are ready to do that.
Oh, great.
In fact, if you have any of these conditions, chronic pain, nausea, post-traumatic stress, glaucoma, any gastrointestinal ailment, any neurological disease, anything chronic pain, AIDS, cancer, then medical marijuana might help, and there are doctors who are willing to help you if you want to try that.
Yeah, well, I do, because I've been using the cookies, except they're so darn expensive when you don't have the medical
That's right. When you
card.
grow it, this stuff grows on trees, and so you could see those plants in that last video, and we'll have some video of others. It's cheap. It's late in the season to grow it outdoors this year, but you can get ready for next year.
Okay, because I go to a real good shop here in Vancouver.
Oh, good.
It's called Stickies. I don't know if you've ever heard of them.
Sounds like a good name to me. I haven't heard of them, but there's so many.
Well, they're fighting the county. The county wants to close them up because they say they're not in the right zone or something.
There's always those haters. Haters are
Yeah.
going to hate.
They're trying to fine them at $500 a day to stay open. Yeah.
Well, more power to them. Maybe we should have them come on the show and talk about their fight out
I mean,
there.
they're really a clean shop. The people that run it are really nice and helpful, and it's just a shame that what they're doing. Because they're in an area where there's nothing around. There's no schools. There's no nothing. There's nothing. It's just ridiculous. Okay, well, thank you for the information.
You're very welcome. Thanks for calling.
You're right. We should have them on the show.
Yeah, we should talk about that. There's a lot of different zoning issues and things. Before it was illegal, they put us in jail. Now they'll zone us out of existence. Just another form of over-regulation. They think this stuff's like alcohol, and it's not.
Right.
It's a lot safer than alcohol. It's good for us. It'll actually make you live longer. Makes you happy. What's wrong with that? It's like that old John Prine song, "If you see me tonight with an illegal smile, don't put me in jail."
And don't
Anyway.
arrest my hooker.
Okay. Right. We didn't need to go there, Cal.
Oh, okay.
Didn't need to go there. But we do have another video of my friend Jorge Cervantes. And here he's talking about how temperature affects leaves.
Oh, yes.
He is a wealth of information. He's just come out with this big encyclopedia, the Cannabis Encyclopedia. I learned from his books back in the 80s, the marijuana horticulture, and it was my Bible. And I think
marijuana is pretty durable. It can handle some extremes, can't it?
Yep, but there are some things that'll kill it.
Oh,
kill it
my.
quickly. Some things, and you got to know what to do. So here is another video from Jorge Cervantes, and we shall be back right after this video.
Hi, I'm Jorge Cervantes, and I'm here in my garden today, and I want to show you something that's very, very interesting. It'll make you pay attention to temperature, and you'll see how plants deal with it. It's pretty amazing. Okay, what I've got here is, right here I've got my little thermometer, right? This is my laser thermometer. Okay, let me take a look at that leaf there. Okay, that leaf's 79 degrees Fahrenheit. The soil, or the cover here, the mulch is 99, 92 degrees in the shade. But we go out into the sun, and man, that's 137, really, really warm. So that shade makes a huge difference. But the interesting thing is the leaf temperature. Let's see, this leaf temperature is, 80 degrees. So let's go over here and look at another one that's in the sun. Now this one, the temperature of this leaf, let's see, there we go. Got it right there. Look at that. 92, 90 degrees, 88. Darn, that's hot. That's really hot. And just because it's in the sun, this one, same thing, 90 degrees. Okay, now what we've got is something really interesting. Let's go and look at an established plant and check out the temperature of the leaf there. Here's a great big established plant. Okay, look at this temperature. Full sun, 78 degrees. 79 degrees, full sun everywhere. It's just staying cool. So what's the trick? Why is it like that? Well, the little plant just doesn't have that big a root system yet, and it's not able to care for itself like a big plant can. So what we need to do is we need to take care of those little plants. Because if you put them under the shade cloth, it makes a huge difference. Now let's take a look at these. See, this is 74. This plant is just a little bigger, so it's able to take care of itself a little better. Interesting stuff. So, if you've got a warm garden, you might want to consider putting on a little shade cloth. Your plants will love it. This is Jorge Cervantes. Happy gardening. Keep it cool.
He rocks. I like him. He is just a wealth of knowledge. He's fantastic to watch. Good voice. Great plants. Good videos.
He's been teaching people for a long time, including myself. But you can see more about him at marijuanagrowing.com. His website is marijuanagrowing.com.
And your plants tower over you. They're so huge.
They do. We start them inside in the winter. So by the time we put them out in May, they're not just little babies anymore. They're bigger than those little ones he has.
I can't wait till sometime
I can
go by.
That's the secret of having super big plants.
And seeing a whole field of plants
there
like 20 feet high. Just a whole field, 20 feet high plants.
Yeah.
Almost like just huge trees that people can just get great medicines from. Oh, and great oil from. And we can start, as they've said, we can rebuild this country with this plant.
Yep. It is a source of fuel, fiber, food, medicine, and fun. There's John Trudell back about 5-6 years ago in the garden. And so
you've had a lot of great people pass through your gardens.
I've been very blessed. I definitely have. And so if you're out there tonight, you know, we've got about 12 minutes left. You can call us at 503-288-4442. That's 503-288-4442. And talked, you know, our Hempstock Festival is coming up.
Yep.
So the Hempstock Festival is coming up on September 24th and 25th. It's going to be in Portland's Waterfront Park.
Cool.
We have John Trudell's band Bad Dog will be there. Jim Matheson and the Herbivores. We'll have lots of booths, lots of informative speakers. If you're interested in getting involved, go to hempstock.org. That's hempstock.org. Know they're having volunteer meetings. Is it Wednesday night? Wednesday nights. So we definitely have.
Are we having sloppy joes and cookouts and food and?
No, we haven't been having those. But
and you want people to show up, but there's no food.
There's cannabis though.
Oh, well, cannabis works.
Yeah.
Cannabis works. Cannabis.
So then they. Anyway, we have another caller. Welcome to the show, caller. Hello, caller.
Hi, I'd like to thank you guys for all the hard work that you've done.
Oh, we're welcome. Thank you for your accolades.
You know, it's nice to be acknowledged for what we do because a lot of people don't recognize it, but Paul's on the road a lot, and so I'm working hard, and we have put a lot of our lives on hold so that we can get this message out. So to be appreciated is very, very rewarding. So thank you for being kind enough to say so.
I've been going full speed ahead with my life, and I just enjoy doing it because that's what I'm motivated to do. You know, I think that cannabis can change the world, and we need it for fuel, fiber, food, medicine, and fun. And so that's what we're here for.
Well, I have to be honest, I am a reluctant activist. Jack Hare hired me. I really wasn't interested in coming to work for his office, and he talked me into it. I'm glad I did. And I wasn't interested in working for the movement for my whole life, but I could never walk away from the patients who needed it. I could never walk away from people who were behind bars and leave them there. And so I have found most of my love within the community of the marijuana movement, and it's my family. So in so many ways, even though it's my Tara baby, it's also my life, and I've been very blessed from being involved in it.
So are you still there, caller?
Yes, I am.
Do you have anything else you want to say?
I have scoliosis. I've been a user for many, many, many years, and I just want to thank anybody who is on my side. Thank you.
We're proud to do it, and I'll tell you, it's a very big blessing to be able to help people who need medical marijuana, and I've been blessed to help a lot of people, and we appreciate your kind words. If you have
Thank you so much. I love you guys.
Thank you.
You're welcome. We have a
Thank
studio audience here as well, and you're welcome to come down to our studio audience. Any week we have a live show at 2750 Northeast Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard, most Friday nights. And we have an open mic, and somebody's at the mic. Go right ahead, sir.
If you're growing medically and you have your 6 mature plants, can you still legally have the 4 for your household?
Yes, you definitely can. In fact, there's been a recent ruling by the courts. You can have your 4 per household. Every household with an adult in it here in the state of Oregon over 21 can have 4 flowering marijuana plants. And if you're a medical patient, you can also have 6 more. So you can have a total of 10 if there's 1 medical patient in a household. If there are 2 medical patients in a household, you can have 6 each for each of the patients and the 4. And that's kind of a new limit that the health department has created, where you don't have to pay an extra fee for being a grower. If you have more than 12 plants per household, or you sell cannabis to a dispensary, you have to pay a new grower fee of $200 a year in addition to the $200 annual cost. They've reduced some of that annual cost. Myself, as a disabled veteran, they've reduced it down to $20, but I have this new grower fee I have to pay. So it's $220. So it really went up overall. And we're not happy with some of those changes, but at the same time, conversely, the Oregon legislature has made a number of positive changes, and one of the most positive changes is that for now, there is no limit on the number of immature or non-flowering marijuana plants you can have. As long as your plants are not flowering, you can have an unlimited number of non-flowering plants. It's only the flowering plants that are regulated by the limits under Oregon's adult use and medical marijuana laws. So that is a new, very positive change that allows us to get plants out to patients, and we might even see juiced marijuana leaves in the next year, and because of that ability to grow unlimited numbers of non-flowering plants. And those non-flowering plants can have any level of THC in them that you might want to grow. So there's some benefit to what the legislature's done. We have another caller, though. Welcome to the show, caller. Oh, not that line. Oops. Okay. Well, maybe they went away. I don't know. But the legislature has giveth, and the legislature taketh away. And another one of the almost unbelievably good things that the legislature did is they set up reciprocity, or not reciprocity, but restitution for anyone convicted of a marijuana crime in the past 10 years. That means if you were convicted for a crime that is now legal within the last 10 years, then the government will repay you some money. And so that is an unusual thing. Myself, I was convicted prior to 10 years ago of some marijuana crime, so I'm not eligible for that restitution. But you can also get your record expunged. That's something else that the legislature has given us. If you are just guilty of a nonviolent marijuana crime, you can now go to the court and have that record removed from your criminal record, which is another huge benefit. So there's that. Anyway, we are now preparing. Mr. John Cornett is going to take us out here in just a couple more minutes. You want to give our watchers a thing about your time frame? We got the graphic
One
there.
more time, we are working hard to make cannabis great. We want to bring jobs back to our country. We are tired of seeing them go overseas. We can start creating jobs here by rebuilding our roads with hemp creek, by rebuilding our highways with hemp creek, by rebuilding our airports with hemp material. We can create an economy that is based on using cannabis as a way of making certain that we can rely on being able to back our dollar with it. We can do so much with our country. It's up to you to work with us to make cannabis great. I'm with you. I want to be your voice, and we want you to go to the voting booth and help make cannabis great. We're going to put a wall around the DEA and get rid of lying Loretta Lynch and all of her bunch as soon as we can. Time4hemp.com. Huge, huge website, huge archives, huge audience. Come in and check it out. I'm with you. Thank you, Paul.
Okay. The audience is enraptured. You know, if you are out there and you need help finding a doctor who can help you with medical marijuana, then you should call us, that number there on your screen. You can call us from anywhere in the U.S. of A. at 1-888-499-THCF. That's 888-499-8423. Again, 888-499-8423. If you're here in the Portland area, you don't have to call us long distance. You can call us locally at 503-235-8423. That's 235-THCF. So that's 503-235-8423. Be happy to help you. And so we'll be back here live next week. Mr. John Cornett is tuning up. You ready to rock, John?
Whenever you're ready.
We're ready to have him play. So thank you guys for watching. We'll be back next week. Tune in then and help us restore hemp.
You were saying earlier, Paul, for
about 12,000 years. She's healed our lives. For 1,000 more, she will brave the fight. She's my Joan of Arc, reaches through the flames, says, come to me, I can heal your pain. She's my Mary Jane, she's my Mary Jane, she's my Mary Jane, she is my Mary Jane. She comes to me, gives me so much. She's my Rosa Parks, holds her seat. She's amazing grace. She is oh so sweet. Saved from hell in the fire of the night, free my soul, clear my sight. She's my Mary Jane, 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 she's my Mary Jane.